Hey everyone. The Egg Burglar is not here. He's doing some other stuff, and we will apologize for not sending out videos as much as we want. But some things just had to be done, like housework and whatnot. And well, I was on YouTube one day looking for uh, some stuff, but what I did find was a 16-year-old that made a sword, and I am going to react to it. So I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, let's get started. All right, 16-year-old. Um, let's let me show you how. Show you. Let me help you out a little bit by reacting to this video. So far, I've seen your video. I've seen this specific video of yours a long time ago. Um, after I started my podcast, um, and I've been blacksmithing for 12 years. Um, and what I want to do for you, since you have more tools than I had when I started, um, I want to give you some tips. Nothing, uh, I hope there's nothing wrong with that. All right, let's.
This is me, attempting to forge a sword with next to no blacksmithing experience. But as I was trying to make this sword, a question lingered in my mind. Could I actually make this thing? To answer that question, we'll have to go back to where it all began. Right here, I have myself this huge chunk of metal. It weighs about 10 pounds. I found it in some bush somewhere. I'm gonna cut this thing at 2 feet long. Because I found this thing in a bush, I have no idea what kind of metal it is, but whatever it is, it's super hard because it took me about 4 grinding wheels to cut through the whole thing. But eventually, I did cut it, and I just ground off the rust. So the rust on this thing has been mostly ground off, so now it's time to forge it. Let's get this thing fired up.
Okay, Vevor Forge. Love it. Tongs. I can't tell what that is, but it's definitely not the 18. It's definitely not something similar like this. These tongs are made from Vevor, and they're a lot heavier than they're supposed to be. Anyway, uh, I would say 2.5, 3 pound hammer, pretty cool. Um, Safety glasses, I see that, also good to note.
Going into this project, I thought it would be super easy, but as I kept going, I realized how difficult this would be. Because the metal is so tough and I don't really have the right tools, it took me almost 12 hours to flatten the whole thing out.
12 hours, yeah, I would expect that, especially how hot you have your steel. So what I would suggest, and again, totally up to you, uh, I would say your next tool should be like a welder of some sort. The welder that I have, which I'll put in a link in the description below, um, is like $60 to $70. If you can buy a Harbor Freight anvil and a Vevor 2 burner forge, then you can get a welder pretty easily. Alright, let's continue.
It also doesn't help that I'm a beginner and I missed like every single one of my hammer strikes. So I've been out here for like a half hour trying to bang on this thing, and it's still hardly moving at all. At this
Again, amateur. You gotta watch it.
point, I probably should have just quit, but I decided not to, and I still.
Dedication. Great. I love it. However, still, welder. You should get one.
Kept trying to forge it out because I just really wanted to make myself a sword. Because I haven't forged in a while, I got blisters again. I have soft hands, I guess.
No. What you should be doing is wear some gloves, no matter how hot or cold it is. Uh, Gloves will prevent blisters. My hands seen 12 years of hard work, and they've been very soft, sandy sometimes, but whatever. Um, and again, I'm trying to help you, kid. So this is me giving you tips on what you should do. I would love to get an anvil from Harbor Freight like that, and hopefully I can either get something better, uh, bigger and better, but I want to start with what you're starting with. So once I get the money, I'll buy one of those things. Anyway, um, I should tell you this video is giving me inspiration to uh, help out here and there, or do forging like how you're forging. Anyway, sorry for the confusion for a little while. Let's continue, shall we?
Oh, this thing is so hard to hold. Oh gosh. I had to put a glove on because my blisters got so bad. I feel like it's gonna slip right out of my hands.
Again, adjust. Uh, there should be a way to adjust your tongs, which these Vevor wolf jaw tongs, uh, they should be your tongs should be like this, but probably a little lighter.
Inserts. What made this project 10 times harder was the fact that I really don't have enough tools. Like, my forge is too small. My hand.
Your forge is fine. It's well adjusted, uh, and it's what you should expect within a Vevor forge. And I'm gonna say this from what I learned from Alec Steele. All it really needs is some doors, as in fire bricks on two fire bricks in the back, or one that is wide enough for the back of the forge, uh, and one on the front. At least one on the front, or one in the back, one in the front, two fire bricks. Uh, it will help you a lot. Or if you can't afford fire bricks to make some doors to use as doors, then maybe some kind of uh, cement block like the ones that is holding your steel, the one that you're using as a stand. You should get one more of those, probably cut it in half, or get one of those one square ones, and then put it as your forge door. Something like that. Something to keep the heat inside the forge.
Hammers are probably not the best, and my anvil is kind of small. This thing is
Your anvil is fine.
starting to thin out, but it's taking so long. I've been doing this for like 2 hours. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. If you're wondering why I was so hyper, I think I was blaring Viking music to get myself hyped up. So after forging for a long time yesterday, I woke up today and I realized that my wrist is in a really bad pain. At this point, it
Probably because your hammer technique.
would have been a good idea to take a break, let my wrist heal for a little bit, but no, I just kept banging on the thing. I kept hurting my wrist
Which is dedication, kid. I wish I had your dedication when I was your age.
even more. That's why I'm forging with my left hand here, because I physically couldn't swing the hammer with my right hand. You know what makes me kind of mad? Like, I've been forging this thing for probably 9 hours, and just now it's starting to like actually be like one flat piece of metal. So right now what I'm gonna do,
Because the temperature, sir. And if you're forging out the tang before you forge out the tip, I don't know. But it's a bad idea now, it's a bad idea then. So uh but I guess I should cut you some slack for how well you're doing your forging. Yes, beginners uh is just does the job a little bit better than most. Anyway, let's continue.
try to do is just stretch out the tang.
I don't think that would fit.
The misty mountains cold.
Holding the sword by the tang, yes, that's a good idea. And you're wearing a glove, yes. You're wearing 2 gloves. That's pretty awesome.
After forging for about 12 hours, I'm finally done getting the shape out. Oh. Anyways, I'm gonna start grinding and stuff. This may seem like a simple part in the project, but it was actually pretty difficult. If I made one wrong
And Grinder. Harbor Freight is not the best cheap tool company, but our tools are uh pretty good, I guess. I had a cordless uh angle grinder not too long ago. Uh, I think I could have gotten something better, cheaper. Anyway, back to
move, it could mean destroying the whole project. One cut too deep could mean weakening the whole blade. But thankfully, I got it ground out with no problems at all. So the blade has been ground out for the most part. Now I'm gonna make a guard for this. So to make a guard, I need a certain tool to be able to punch a hole through the guard. I was thinking about how I could do that. And then I just saw this train spike lying around. It's literally the perfect size for it. So I'm just gonna harden the tip of this thing, and then I'm gonna use this as a little punch for the guard. All right.
good, which gave me an idea for how I'm going to be forging possibly a short sword machete type thing. But right now, I don't have the tools for that.
All right, so I'm gonna try to take this chunk of metal that came off of the sword, and I'm gonna turn it into the guard. This might be surprising.
No, not surprising. Um, so these tongs, Wolfjaw tongs, are not meant for uh round stock. Uh, there are V-bit tongs that are better for that, but for 2-inch, you would have to go to Blacksmith Depot to get their expensive tongs. Expensive for a reason. Um, or get a welder, which $60 to $70 within the Vevor welder that I have that I'll put in the link in the description below. So, yeah. Oh, and I'm starting to see a couple of fire bricks. Huh. I don't know why I missed that so badly. Anyway, let's continue, shall we?
But forging out the guard was the most difficult part of the project. I couldn't hold on to it with my tongs, and it kept bouncing out of it. Alright, I'm gonna put that hole in the middle of the guard. I don't know how this is gonna go. I'm kind of scared that I'm gonna like burn my hand up or something. The only way I could use the punch was by holding it with a gloved hand. And even with the glove on, I was scared it was gonna burn my flesh because that piece of metal is like 2,000 degrees, and even with the glove, it could burn right through it. So this guard right here is really starting to annoy me. It did not forge well on because I really don't know what I'm doing. So it's all rattly still. I'm just gonna try to forge weld the guard on just one more time. It needs to be.
So, first of all, was the guard clean when you forge welded it the first time? Which, if so, was the tang clean at all? If so, did you use any flux? Flux cord wire would have helped you in a long run. Again, fire bricks, or concrete bricks, or whatever you're using, which is a very good idea. Very good idea. Just, yeah. Anyway, let's continue.
Like almost white, and it's getting there. I thought I knew how to forge weld because I saw like one YouTube short on it, but I didn't, and I messed it up yet again. But it actually did work for a little bit, and then I made the mistake of quenching it for some reason, and I think that shrank the metal, and then it started rattling again. I think it actually worked this time. Yeah, no, it didn't. No rattlings. It's good. Ooh, this is looking good. I think what I'm gonna try to do is make a little.
Okay, so you went big on the pommel. I mean, you went big on the guard, and you punched it out of what was part of the sword, and you're going cheap with the freaking pommel, which I don't blame you. You don't you're a beginner blacksmith, but yeah, I still can't talk about that. But what you're doing is fine. Whatever. Something that I should tell you before you make a pommel or do what you just did, I would say do some type of uh, I would taper the tang uh, if I were you. Okay? I'm glad we got that sorted out.
Little fancy curve thing. I had thought about actually putting a pommel on and screwing it on somehow, but after the trouble I had with the guard, I really didn't want to do anything else. I didn't know what I was doing while I was hammering it out, but
You can weld up those little holes and yeah. Anyway,
I think it turned out pretty good. So it's quenching time, and the only tank big enough to quench the sword is this wheelbarrow right here. And because I'm not going to pour 30 gallons of canola oil into this thing, I'm going to use water to quench it. Oh!
okay. Okay. I am uh shocked that you are using water to quench your sword. Fine, whatever. Just for your next sword, adjust it a little bit. If the wheelbarrow is yours, I would put two holes uh, to put the edge on to quench the blade. But within the viewer's point of view, uh, let me just say he is still quite new at this.
Gallons of canola oil into this thing. I'm gonna use water to quench it. Oh!
Water is a bad idea. I'm just gonna tell you that.
Alright, let's quench this thing. When I was putting the sword in, I burned my arm hairs, so now I guess I'm a true blacksmith. Because I have a really small forge, it was really difficult to heat it evenly all the way through. So I ended up having an uneven heat treat.
I don't know what else to tell you on that one, sir.
Yeah, I really need to upgrade my tools for next time because even the wheelbarrow wasn't big enough. It bent up a little bit, kind of like a katana.
Which is pretty cool. Can I tell you something? You got lucky, kid. Water would like over harden some steels, but that garbage steel possibly uh I I I need time to process this. When I first watched this thing, yeah, I needed time to process it. Now I need more time to process it after this video.
That kind of looks cool. After quenching, probably the most tedious part of the whole project had to be done. I had to grind, and I had to sand. But doing all that stuff really is worth it, because if I didn't do it, it really wouldn't look that good at all. Even after only using the angle grinder, it was already starting to look pretty good. But there was still work that needed to be done. After angle grinding, I tried sharpening it on the weakest belt grinder on planet Earth. It hardly moves any material, and it doesn't really put an edge on it.
Now, a 1x30 belt sander is good for knives, not swords. What you probably want to grind a sword would be something. There are a lot of belt grinders that would be able to do the trick. I would say something from. I'll put some links in the description below on belt grinders too that can actually help you. Like, for example, a 4x36 grit belt sand, 4x36 belt grinder or sander, whatever. And, well, you know, it would like speed up the process of putting a bevel in the blade. And I gotta say, you did a very good job putting a very nice bevel in the blade. I'll have more info while we continue watching.
And after that, it was on to sanding, the most tedious and boring part of the project. That's why
Get some standing sticks, you moron. You're gonna get yourself cut.
I only give a couple shots to you guys. And I got some dust in my hands. That's fun. For the handle, I got a little bit lazy because I didn't want to put any more work into the sword than I had to. I was just going to wrap it with some leather and call it done. I didn't think just wrapping it would work, so I put some epoxy on the handle so that it would stick better. This part was actually pretty fun, but it took a couple tries to get it right. I think I made the right decision for the leather because it looks really good. So after countless hours of forging, this sword is finally completed, and now I can test it out. I am a little bit scared to test it on anything that's actually hard because it does have a pretty good sized crack in the edge.
Okay, first of all, yeah, that crack is horrible. It's a surface crack. If you want me to, if you want me to tell you a trick to avoid that, do not quench your blade in water. That's the reason why you got a crack, a surface crack. That's the best thing that can happen when water quenching a sword or a knife. Okay, what you can do instead of using a wheelbarrow, all you need is 2 gallons of quenching oil, canola, or the expensive stuff. And then it would be like a bucket, sand, um, 3 or 4 inch PVC, um, a bottom and top cap, and then the quenching oil itself. Do that first, and then you can make a sword. And then you can avoid this to happen, which in this case can be fixed. I don't like the editing about this. Well, I think he did a very good job. So if you guys are interested in supporting this kid, the video that I just watched is in the description below. Thank you and have a good day.